Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Stephen Gong. I'm the Executive Director of CAAM. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this Q&A with the filmmakers behind the You Are Here series of digital short portraits of some of the community members of San Francisco Chinatown. I'm happy to welcome James Q. Chan, producer and creator of the series, Anson Ho, director of one of the shorts, and Dorthy Quock, one of the subjects and a producer for the series. So welcome, everyone.
Hi.
That was magical. Good to see you all. You Are Here, such an incredible collection of shorts. We are so proud to be presenting the world premiere, and for folks that have just watched them, I'm sure you have the same reaction I did. There's so many wonderful different styles of filmmaking, and together they form this incredible portrait of a community that we know and love and want to share. So to get us started, actually, I'm sorry, I feel compelled on all of our Zoom meetings to ask, how are you all doing? Are you well? And are your spirits up? It's been a rough year, and I just want to make sure we're all in a good place.
Dorothy, do you want to start it off?
I'm well fed because of friends and neighbors that have brought groceries to me. So I don't need to go out for any shopping other than essential errands. And fortunately, I've been out a couple of times on outings, thanks to James.
Thank you, Dorothy. James, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you, Stephen. It's the middle of October already. It's crazy. I'm doing okay. Since the last time we spoke in May, I think I mentioned that I'm familiar with it's viscerally familiar to my latchkey kid days of being sheltered in place and left to watch movies and read books throughout. But let's see, where am I right now? I am excited about this premiere with CAAMFest. I'm excited to have the first short, which is a project that curating other filmmakers to join me tell the story, stories of Chinatown. So Anson Ho is joining us. So that's exciting about that. But my spirits are up. My spirits are up, all things considered.
Wonderful. And Anson, good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I think I just got my flu shot this morning, so I feel very strong and immune now. And just staying safe. I'm still carefully and safely filming and interviewing people, if in a very safe way, and making sure if they're comfortable with it and stuff like that, and just figuring out the way logistically to keep everything safe, everyone safe to do it. And if it doesn't feel safe, then we just don't do it. So it's how it is right now. So.
Right. Well, let's get into the series then. And James, if you can, tell us a little bit about the inspiration you had, sort of what were your hopes originally? And then mind you, I think the pandemic has come in to kind of shift or evolve that original approach. But what were your original thoughts about this series of shorts and what you wanted to achieve with them?
Thank you, Stephen. The You Are Here series basically started as wanting to meet my neighbors, to continue the dialogue. And the most important thing for me in the series is to validate everyone's stories. So I kind of talked with Dorothy on this earlier on. And what we set out to do was to document as many of the our neighbors' stories as we could. And as we started moving forward, I realized I couldn't do this on my own and needed major support in terms of having other filmmakers come and join me on this adventure. But pretty much the catalyst of this series starts pretty much like Dorothy and Anson and I have traveled extensively outside of San Francisco Chinatown. Dorothy in particular being a tour guide going to China and Africa, as well as locally in San Francisco Chinatown. Anson throughout as well, and myself through Southeast Asia and India. And coming back to San Francisco Chinatown, you realize that there's a specificity of our community stories. They're very specific, but they're also very universal in terms of themes, family, caregiving, community, creativity, and wanting to bring up our own neighbors' stories. So in a way, it was a very selfish act of wanting to know more of the community.
Oh, well, there's an enormous generosity underneath, and it does speak, actually, James. I know, to your earlier work too, like Forever Chinatown and Chinatown Rising, and in a way, giving us a multifaceted view is remarkable. And one of the things, of course, that it allows is that sort of each gem of a story gives us some different insight. And I want to focus on a couple of the stories, actually one directed by you, Anson, which was following Aaron Lim, a young man who, as the pandemic hit, I guess we fill in the blanks, but his desire to kind of, do something to help the community, really, in delivering food and also help the local restaurant scene. It's a lovely little portrait. And then mixed in, I thought the Juneteenth, the one that is related to Black Lives Matter. These two works kind of sum up this incredibly challenging, year that we're in, this plague year, this year of racial reckoning. And to me, I don't, it wasn't in your original conception, but it just underscores how a community really holds together, how, like I said, it just brought me enormous feelings of being connected to and not feeling alone and isolated, which is otherwise how I would have. And I just wonder for you guys on creating this now, what it means for you to be able to highlight someone like Aaron or someone like Vita, one of the artists, in Portsmouth Square. So maybe, Anson, would you just share some of your thoughts about crafting this short story that means so much about Aaron? How's he doing now, for instance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know Aaron through his family. I know his sister very well, Kelly, and their parents. They're just like huge community people with CCDC and Cameron House. But Aaron, I think that was his first time trying something, as far as helping the community and stuff like that. And so for him as a young adult and a tech worker, and like just seeing him organically seeing what was wrong with how to help. And at that time, obviously with a shelter in place, no one could go out. People were scared to even enter in Chinatown because of what, all the xenophobia and stuff like that. And he saw his restaurants that he frequently went to just hurting, because a lot of them actually still don't really embrace credit cards or delivery pickups kind of thing. It's just cash only and stuff like that. So he just took it upon himself to start taking orders for his friends. And from 1 week, I think it started in March. From 1 week, it was maybe just 10 orders to all the way to May, where it became 500 orders. And so it was just amazing to see everyone pitching in, helping out, and just the stories that he tells me about how he was carrying like 200 chassis boughs, and you don't think 200 chassis boughs is that heavy, but him carrying it up the hills and stuff like that, it's just like, you know, something you don't see, but at the same time, you love the passion he has as a younger person, just to want to help the community and stuff like that. And I myself, who grew up in Cameron House, you know, just seeing that in him, like you love to see that, where people are giving back, young people want to help, you know, everyone, and not just thinking about themselves, not thinking about, you know, their own, I don't know, wealth or anything like that, but really thinking about how everyone is suffering right now and how to give back and help.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I happened to meet Aaron just by happenstance, and this was an early morning, and he was watching James and I standing outside a bakery where he had been shopping, and he was asking what we were doing, and this was 5:30 a.m. And it turned out that he was saying that he has moved back to the community, and he lives within a block of Cameron House.
Yeah.
He said he has made it in terms of financial stability, and so now he's giving back, and introduced himself to us.
And that was
that's wonderful.
And I remember that day too, because we were actually filming another Jones Wong that early morning at his exercise class. The thing with Aaron that's really special is that it's a new generation that is returning to live in Chinatown.
Right. Not only giving back, but be part of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his parents, for sure, his mom grew up in the Pings and his dad grew up in North Beach, and just to like come full circle and come and live here in Chinatown again is really amazing. And so, like, you know, and you have to, of course, like for myself, I live in Daly City now, but I try to visit Chinatown, but it's so much different to like live in Chinatown, shop, do grocery there, see everyone every day, the same people, and saying hi and stuff like that. It really becomes your community. Because I did work at Cameron House for about 3 years, and I got to experience that every day. But, you know, now with the, you know, shelter in place and the lockdown, you just can't, you don't travel as much. So, yeah.
Right. So part of this series, of course, also just to jump to that, is an intergenerational story. And as you say, about caregiving, and the portraits, I thought, of the Tai Chi master, Simu Kuo, was really lovely. And the film that you shared with us actually last May was also very much an intergenerational story. And I think we're going to look forward to Dorothy's story, which will be the crown jewel for the first series, right, James?
That is correct. We're going to end season 1 with a giant, fabulous bang with Miss Dorothy in her portrait.
We'll see about the bang.
One of the things that I wanted to jump on in the last comments about Aaron and the intergenerational aspect of it is that he actually, like during this time, this heightened time, we all kind of answer the call, right? The call to make an impact, to be of service to the community. Aaron did that with reaching out to the restaurants and reaching out to his community. Vita and CCC, Chinese Culture Center, they give paintbrushes to the community in solidarity with the Black Lives Movement. Simu, the Master Quo, has donated buildings. Like she donated the building that is Chinese affirmative action.
Right.
So there's incredible opportunities for folks to meet the moment when they arrive. So I think that this is one of the things that with the series is being able to kind of just have a time capsule, a timestamp during this time, especially with our community stories.
That's wonderful. That's lovely. And and the artist Leon Sun, a lovely portrait, and one that I can see was part of that original conception. But he too, right, evolving through this period. And I loved the way in which he was finding deeper meaning and the connection, right, between his wanting to reconcile social justice issues with an art form and finding such inspiration in Native American moments, which I think is another unique aspect of this time we're in. How in taking care of our own community reminds us actually that we're part of many different communities, that we also, that our responsibility is to be able to respond and see ourselves in protecting other communities' own well-being and their cultural traditions. So
absolutely,
just my kudos to you, James. What a great, generous, humanistic approach, I think, to the art of filmmaking and what documentary filmmaking can be. And that's something that we really prize at CAAM. So you do us proud for this whole art form. I mean, you're really fulfilling it.
Thank you, Brother Stephen. Thank you.
Yeah, the diversity. I think the diversity is the emphasis that's made, and it's just not just Chinese, not just Asians, but the multi-diversity that represented by our city as well as our nation. And the immigrant community is so much a part of how it had evolved from.
I just got chills up my spine, Dorothy. That is so incredible to hear. It really brings deep meaning, I think, to this series. Means so much to all of us, I think, to all communities. So we want to help push it out. We're coming toward the end of our session today, but I did want to ask you all to give us some reflections kind of on where do you see, how open-ended is this, James? I guess in the future, we hope to see stories more of recovery, right? And even reimagination of the community. And I wonder how you're going to vet different stories and where to take this and identify new filmmakers to join you.
Absolutely. To me, it's every portrait and every short episode in the series is an entry point into San Francisco Chinatown. And so there are multiple entry points to this community. And we look forward to continuing to work with Anson and continuing to work with other filmmakers that are lining up and joining us. So there's stuff in pre-production right now that we're gearing for season 2 already. And then so we just want to continue it. The momentum, as long as there are people willing to share their stories, there's a team of us that are ready to validate their stories.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Stephen, I wanted to also point out, it's the posterity. I can't even pronounce it, but I think you know what I mean. It goes on and on, way after I'm gone, but it'll be a medium in which James has put together that will continue throughout the history of Chinatown and throughout our community. So thank you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's
James.
Beautiful, Dorothy.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. And thank you for CAAM for having this platform for us.
Yeah, right.
Wonderful. Well, James, Dorothy, Anson, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you all out there who are watching for joining us. We're out of time. I want to invite you, if you've enjoyed this, please consider joining us at CAAM. We would love to have you as a partner in our programs to celebrate Asian American storytelling. If you're interested, should be a link for you, but you can always come to caammedia.org and find out more about our programs. Enjoy the rest of the festival. Goodbye.